Welcome to Full Court Press. Today I'm joined by Charlie, and we're going to be talking about some contenders and pretenders. The playoffs are right around the corner, and we're going to break down teams that we think are contenders, teams that are pretending to be contenders, and teams that might be some dark horses that you should probably watch out for in the playoffs this year. All right, Charlie, let's just start off from the bottom with some of these pretending teams. Or teams that just don't have a shot in general. The Bulls.
Oh yeah, all play-in teams except for like the Lakers.
A couple in the West, yeah.
Honestly, everyone in the West is pretty much a contender
Borderline,
or yeah. But yeah, the East is like
the Hawks for sure, the Bulls, the Pacers, the Magic, and 76ers. Yeah, without Embiid, they're definitely not going very far.
Yeah.
And then
I would say the Pacers and the Heat are like in that middle category. Or like maybe even dark horses. I don't know.
But in the West, some of the no-shot teams, I would say the Warriors. I feel like
no shot, dude.
I feel like they have no
A
shot.
healthy Steph, you're counting them out, dude.
No shot at winning a title. I mean, they could win a round, sure.
They won a title 2 years ago with the exact same team, pretty much.
Definitely not the exact same team.
Clay's not the same guy. So
Andrew Wiggins isn't the same guy either. But I don't think that they have a shot at winning a title whatsoever. They have to beat a lot of good teams.
They do, but I don't know. I can't count Steph out, dude. If he's there, he's got a chance, dude.
True, but as much as I also hate to say it, I'm gonna put the Kings as no shot.
No shot? Dude,
no shot.
I was thinking about that, but I don't know, dude.
They don't look the same as last year.
They definitely don't match up to those top tier teams. But Sabonis, dude, he's so underrated.
Oh my God.
I feel like he's top 3 in MVP right now. Like him, and then Luka's underrated too somehow. Somehow he's not even top 3 in MVP, but
I don't even think Sabonis is top 5, and
I don't even know if he's top 10, bro. He's not even an all-star. Like it's insane what he's doing and getting no recognition.
Yeah, he's had over 44 double-doubles in a row, and there's only a handful of players who've gotten 50, and he's on his way there.
Yeah, ridiculous.
But, yeah, unfortunately, I have to put the Kings in that.
In the
no shot category. All right, let's dive into some pretenders. Would you like to start?
Yeah, because I already know what you're gonna say.
All right.
I got my 2 biggest pretenders. I'll start with the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks match up with any of the Bucks or the Celtics. I really do like their Anunoby move. I think they've played solid with him. I don't even think Randall's back yet.
No, he's not.
So we haven't really gotten to see that whole team a lot together. But I just don't think. I still don't think Jalen Brunson is 1A. I don't think he can be your best player on a team and win a championship. And then another pretender, especially without Cat now, I would say is the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
They've looked super solid in the regular season. They got some really good vets and Mike Conley and Gobert, but without Cat, even with Cat, I honestly am not convinced that they're a locked-in contender.
I would have to agree with the Timberwolves, especially without Cat. Definitely, they're not gonna really go anywhere. They could probably, depending on who they face, still win a first-round matchup, but after that, you're looking at Clippers or the Nuggets, whoever ends up 4th, maybe even the Thunder. So that's gonna be a tough matchup in the second round regardless. And even with Cat, they've had games where they've played really well and they look very good, but they've also had games where they look like they're still one piece away or still need a couple years to really get to that true contending
I think it's
spot.
Just the only thing holding them back is I don't think Cat's getting he might be at his ceiling right now. I think they just need Anthony Edwards to hit. He's playing unbelievable right now, but he has another level to his game.
Exactly.
And once he hits that, then I think they'll be contenders. But
yeah, and the troubling thing about them is their offense. Their offense isn't the greatest, and if it's not clicking, they're looking really rough in terms of scoring. Because it's hard to score when you got Gobert kind of can't really do anything on offense if he's not at the rim.
Definitely he's not an offensive asset, that's for sure.
Yeah, and without Ant or Cat scoring, they don't really have that great of a third option. You got Mike Conley or Jaden McDaniels, maybe even Naz Reid.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how they can even generate their new offense without Cat, because that's 20, 25 points a game gone. So
it's basically been the Ant show ever since
he's left. He's been hitting kind of another level, but without Cat, he's got to have Cat and be on that level to be contending.
Right. And then with the Knicks, I don't know. I'm kind of
I know you like
Brunson. I think the Knicks can do something. Whether or not they can contend for a chip, I think that they'll have to get really lucky. So I'm in that. They're not pretenders, but they ain't contenders.
Middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think they could be a low-key
I
dark
could see
horse,
it,
maybe.
but I don't.
I believe in Tibbs more than anyone.
I want Tibbs to succeed, but I just don't think they got the guys they need.
I feel like this team is probably the closest he's gotten to like that Bulls team. Not in terms of talent, but just guys that are all in.
You might be right about that. Yeah, There's like guys like DiVincenzo and
Josh Hart.
Yeah, those two guys are like two guys you want on your team.
Yeah.
But they're role players.
Yeah.
And I just don't think their stars are up to par with everybody else's stars.
Yeah, but even Brunson, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Randall, OG, they'll all play 40 minutes a game.
Those are the guys Tibbs wants for sure.
Yeah, and that's what Tibbs loves. He loves his players that can play 40 minutes a game. And it also sucks that Mitchell Robinson is also done for the year again.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
He definitely can't stay healthy. But my personal number one pretender of all time is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this stems from a deep, deep hatred for the Thunder. Mainly Chet.
We got no backup. Fatmir's not here to
luckily it's not 2 against 1 a day. But yeah, the Thunder, if Shea's not going off, or if J-Dub really only puts in about 20, if that. And Shea's 30 points per game,
That's consistency is key. You heard him say it.
He's very consistent. Everything in his life is consistent. Sure. But he's consistently had 0 playoff success. And it seems like that's going to continue this year. His life's consistent.
All right. No, that's fair. I don't have them as being pretenders because I've watched multiple of their games against good teams. Coming down to crunch time, I've seen them crumble and they picked it back up. They've won big games. The biggest thing that's keeping me from saying like they're a legit contender is just they don't have, obviously Chet can block shots, but they don't have a guy that's gonna stop Jokic, or like if Embiid were to come back, stop Embiid, or Giannis. Like they severely lack on like rim protection, like big bodies. They got Biyombo, and you just saw him faint. You just saw him. I don't know what was going on with that. I mean, he doesn't get minutes anyways, but yeah, that's their biggest hole right now. I feel like that's keeping them out of like me saying this is their year. They're definitely a dark horse. I don't even say dark horse. Like I definitely think they're gonna win first round and probably a conference finals appearance. But when it comes down to like the Lakers and Anthony Davis, Jokic, like those teams with solidified big men, I don't think they're gonna make it out of that.
I don't think they even make it out the first round, to be honest. Especially if they face the Lakers. I think the Lakers have their number.
The Lakers will be their toughest matchup. I think they can rally together, dude.
Even if they face the Warriors, because right now they're the 9-10, the Lakers and the Warriors, so they're for sure the 8th seed at the highest. So the Warriors have given them some great regular season games. It's come down to the wire multiple times. The Lakers have basically had their number. And I think once things get tighter in the playoffs, that's when Shea won't be getting as many foul calls, and I think the pressure is going to get to them, and you're able to lock in more, and the game slows down. And they just lack experience altogether. Plus, they're starting to play Josh Giddey like Rajon Rondo, so
yeah, that's tough.
Just sagging off of him, letting him shoot the 3-ball. It'll be interesting to see how their coach. I'm not sure his name is Mike Daugherty or something.
Dagnall, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, however you pronounce it, Mike. It'll be interesting to see how he changes things up in the playoffs. If they were to make it to the second round, depending on if they're the first or second seed, you're looking at the Clippers or the Nuggets, maybe even the Pelicans. And yeah, and if they face the Clippers or the Nuggets for sure, I don't think they're beating the Nuggets.
Probably not.
I don't think the Timberwolves or the Thunder are going to beat the Nuggets if they see them in the playoffs in the second round, or any round for that matter. But the Clippers, I also think, would beat both of those teams pretty well also, because the Clippers got like 3 or 4 guys that can take over whenever they need to, and you got some solid defenders that you're going to throw at SGA. So yeah, if I were to say anyone's a pretender, it's definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've had great regular season success. They have won big games. They've beaten the Nuggets on a Shea game winner, and I've hated it all. But I will be very happy when they get eliminated in the playoffs, hopefully in the first round.
Who's to say that won't happen, bro? I got at least conference finals.
At least
I don't think they're winning it all, but They're not gonna be first round exits, dude.
You're looking good. You and Fatmir are looking good with the 50-win season, but
I'm
at least
interested
conference finals.
Interested what Fatmir would have to say right now if he thinks they're going directly if they're a pretender or not. We'll have to figure out what Fatmir's take is.
The world may never know what Fatmir's take is, but moving on from the pretenders to the dark horses. These are teams that most people probably don't think can make a run in the playoffs, but will definitely give your favorite team a run for their money. And I think we should start off with the team that's always considered the dark horse, the team that went to the NBA Finals as the 8th seed last year, the Miami Heat.
Jimmy G's coming. Jimmy G buckets is about to get buckets. I definitely think they're hitting their stride. You can never count them out pretty much. I don't think anybody, especially the Celtics, I would say, do not want to see the Heat first round. I don't think that's like their biggest dread right now. But yeah, I'm never counting out the Heat.
Surprisingly enough, I think the Bucks are more suited to play Miami than the Celtics are this year. Even though the Celtics do have Porzingis, and I think that's just a big matchup problem for really any team. But
Bam's a pretty good matchup for Porzingis.
Yeah, just
quick, but he's shorter. But
yeah,
I think he's quick enough to do some damage, get him out of his spots.
Yeah, I just think that like if I wouldn't want him out on the perimeter having guard Porzingis. You might have to have someone shorter on him. But either way, the Heat, they're always the dark horse. People always count them out, and then I think they're given a 3% chance of beating the Celtics last year.
Yeah.
And then they ended up almost sweeping them. They let it go to 7, but you live and you learn. But yeah, the Heat are hitting their stride. Terry Rozier looks good, and this is all still being somewhat injured. Tyler Hero's not back yet.
I was gonna say Rozier meshed pretty well with them. I didn't really know what to think about that trade when it first happened, but it's looking pretty good right now.
I personally was a fan just because I knew the Heat needed another scorer, and Scary Terry can go get you 20 whenever you need it.
He sure can.
If Tyler's not hitting, you got Terry instead of Kyle Lowry, and then Jimmy's a little cold, you got him too. And now you got Nikola Jovic finally
He's
getting some minutes.
Yeah.
I was always high on him too. He's just never played. He's finally getting that opportunity. Jaime Jaquez is 20-point walking bucket.
He's good. He's very good.
I mean, the Heat, they always find a way. They always find a way.
Heat culture.
The Heat culture.
Heat culture.
They're the meanest, most hardest working team in the league for a reason. And this is why. I wouldn't be surprised if they make another deep run. Maybe even go to the finals again. Who knows? I think teams are going to be more prepared for them, more prepared for a Caleb Martin explosion.
I don't think we're going to see that again.
Maybe out of someone else. The
Duncan Robinson explosion. The dark horse for me is the Cavs. I don't know if a lot of people maybe would have them in contender category, but they're so young too. I don't think they're on the same level as the Bucks and the Celtics. Mm-hmm. But they got a good team. When they're fully healthy, that team is. I really like what they got going on. They got some fast guys like Mobley, who's big. Allen, great rim protector. I think Donovan Mitchell is like top 3 shooting guard in the league. I think he's better than Devin Booker. And then Garland, who hasn't been super healthy this year, really started to playing good though as of late. So I think they're definitely a dark horse.
I'd have to agree with your pick. I'm not going to say that they're not one, because I think if they're clicking, they can make a run. Mm-hmm. My one issue is you have the Knicks as a pretender, but I feel like the Knicks have the Cavs number. Even without Jalen Brunson, he got hurt, I think, early on in that game, or he was hurt the game prior, and Josh Hart kind of snatched Donovan Mitchell's chain on the sideline. Yeah. That was insane.
That was a wild game, but I don't know. Give me 7-game series. I got the Cavs, dude.
It'll be interesting. If they're clicking and Donovan Mitchell is on fire in the playoffs, we've seen him take over series before, and he can definitely put a team on his back. But I think that whole team needs to click. Last year, Jared Allen said it himself that the lights were too bright.
Brighter than expected.
So hopefully they're not as bright this time and they actually make some noise this playoff. And me personally, I do think that the Knicks are a little bit of a dark horse just because they're that grit and grind kind of team. And not too many, it's the Knicks. No one expects any success out of New York. So
that's where I was going to say. I think why I'm considering, before the season started, I feel like the Knicks had much higher expectations than the Cavs did. So I feel like that's part of why I have the Cavs as a dark horse and the Knicks as pretenders.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's just because the Knicks beat them last year in the first round, so I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the Knicks got better, in my opinion, adding OG.
Oh, they definitely. That's why I think I don't think they're gonna live up to their expectations.
The expectations.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, just because they're gonna run into the Bucks, Heat, or Celtics in the second round. So it'll be interesting to see. But moving out west, I think we can both agree on the team I'm about to say. We both had them at number 5 in the Western standings by the end of the year. The New Orleans Pelicans.
Dark horse.
Dark horse for sure, in my opinion.
It has been an up and down year. They've been really quiet but solid, honestly. Still being in that 5 spot. I know there's been some injuries. I think CJ missed a good chunk of time, right?
Yeah, he did.
And they're still hanging around. This is probably the healthiest Brandon Ingram's been.
And Zion Williamson.
And Zion, obviously, too. But, yeah, I definitely would say they're dark horses. I mean, we saw, what was that, last year or 2 years ago? They were the 1 seed for a while when they were healthy.
Yeah, and then...
So they could definitely make a good run.
Yeah, and then we saw what they did against the Suns back in 2022 when they were the 8th seed and the Suns were the 1 seed. They took the Suns to 7 games, I believe.
With no Zion, right?
With no Zion. Jose Alvarado was going crazy. And now these guys, they've got a couple years under their belt. Zion's finally looking healthy. They seem focused, in my opinion.
They do. There's like no noise around them. Like they're just playing basketball right now.
And that can serve as a good thing because you're locked in. There's no media noise. Sure, Zion had that one incident, but that's...
I was gonna say Zion has been he's been getting criticized by Stephen A. a lot.
Yeah.
Just hasn't even acknowledged it. That's honestly what you want out of your star players. Just go play basketball.
The social media intern handled his light work. Absolutely torched Stephen A.
That was awesome.
But yeah, if the biggest thing for me with the Pelicans will be clicking in the playoffs, because I think Brandon Ingram is the go-to guy in the clutch. But Zion's got to be the one to kind of carry throughout. Yeah, if he has to be consistent.
So if Zion's not having a good game, they're probably not winning the game.
Yeah, so that's definitely a dark horse in my opinion. And another one, do you want to start with yours if you have one in mind, or should I bring up the one I have?
No, you can go.
All right. I don't know if you're gonna agree, but I think you know where I'm going with this. It's definitely the Los Angeles Lakers in my opinion. I think no one ever counts out LeBron, but at the same time, I don't think anyone expects the Lakers to win a championship. But if D'Angelo Russell plays the way he's been playing the past 5 to 10 games, LeBron stays healthy, AD stays healthy, it seems like the Lakers are finally starting to click. And the biggest reason why I think that they can make a deep run in the playoffs is because they have one of the harder end of schedules. Like, their strength of schedule for the back half of the year is really strong. They're facing a bunch of playoff teams, and I think that's going to help more than it hurts. Because sure, your standing might change.
At this point, yeah, they're going to be bottom in the play-in. So wherever they are in the play-in doesn't really matter to LeBron, I would assume.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whatsoever, but it prepares you for those close games, for those intense games against good teams, and I think that's what they'd rather have. Why would you rather face bad teams going into the playoffs, knowing that you're going to have to step up your game when you can already have it stepped up, you're in rhythm, and now you're ready for a first-round matchup against the top team in the West? Granted, the Nuggets definitely have their number. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
This last season.
Yeah, they've won the last 7 in a row against the Lakers, and there was a graphic where whenever there was a big Laker moment, they had to play the Nuggets that day, and the Nuggets beat them by like 8 points or so every time. But it'll be interesting to see if the Lakers can make it over the hump of the Nuggets, or if they just get owned by Jokic.
I would agree. They're definitely dark horses. Definitely never count LeBron out. But I just feel like every season, before every season, there's just this narrative. They put together a team perfectly for LeBron. They address what they need to address, and they put together a great roster. And the Lakers just aren't good to start the season. And then everyone just acts like, at the end of the season, once they figure it out, they're like, oh, LeBron saved the Lakers. This narrative that, he should have never made the playoffs. He had a great roster put together for him.
He did.
The Lakers should be way better. For the last 3 seasons, the Lakers should have been way better than what they are. So I'm not gonna act like, oh, this team has no shot, they suck. Like, no, dude, this team should have been contending this whole time.
Right.
So yeah, they're a dark horse, but they should never even be in the play-in. Not giving LeBron the drag them out of the mud flowers, dude. There's no way. They're just underperforming.
I don't think LeBron's dragged them out the mud, but underperformed for sure because we all had them like top 4
Right. Yeah.
in our standings, and there was definitely a lot of hype around them. Everyone was saying they're solid defensively. They're big. They got a few bigs now. It's looking like the 2020 roster kind of. But yeah, they suffered.
You already know if they make a playoff run, everyone's going to be like, oh, the Lakers had a 0.3% chance to make
Right.
the playoffs in December, and now they're in the conference finals.
Exactly.
No, bro. It's where they're supposed to be. You have LeBron on your team, that's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, they're going to talk about how we should forget about the 90s, but
Yeah, dude.
we're not going to forget about 2011, that's for sure.
Choke City.
With that being said, let's move on to the contenders. These are the teams expected to win a ring or have a very good chance of doing so. Let's start out in the East. I don't think it's any surprise. They got the best starting 5 in all of basketball, arguably. The Boston Celtics, #1 seed in the East, best record in the NBA.
There's no question. They're definitely contenders. I mean, the East is just literally between them and the Bucks, who are like, that's it. I think that's a clear conference finals matchup. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of this season, I had the Bucks, and I'm still taking the Bucks.
Okay.
I still have the Bucks coming out of the East, but Celtics, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to go against them right now. I'm nervous, but I gotta ride with Giannis.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. As someone who said right after the finals ended, or it was during the playoffs, that the 2024 NBA champions would be the Milwaukee Bucks, and the fact that they got Dame, it's hard for me to kind of stick by that right now, just seeing the way that the Celtics are meshing and rolling, and they're just kind of destroying teams, except for the Nuggets. The Nuggets swept them. But yeah, the Celtics are so locked in.
Top to bottom, everybody's like on the same wavelength right now.
Exactly.
They are a formidable foe.
And the only thing that's really going to mess them up is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. If they have those stinkers here and there that they seem to be known to have every once in a while, then things could get ugly once again this postseason. But I think the literal expectation for them is a championship. It's been that way since Jason Tatum has been drafted. You've expected success year in and year out. And if they don't get it done this year, I'm not sure what contracts are looking like or cap space or anything like that.
Well, you already know they spent the bag on Brown. So
Exactly.
How are they going to drop another bag on Tatum and keep everyone else around?
It'll be very interesting to see what they would even do in the offseason to reconstruct the lineup, or if they just run it back. I mean, this is the best lineup that they've had in probably over a decade, since 2008 when they last won a ring. So the bar is set. They either fail or they do what they're set out to do and win a championship. But they got the Milwaukee Bucks in their way. Giannis and Dame are ready. Giannis has won a ring. Dame hasn't won a ring.
Dame's hungry. We know
Dame
that.
is hungry, that's for sure. We know that they want a championship. Giannis wants another ring to his collection. Dame wants his first. The Milwaukee Bucks are contenders. That's for damn sure.
Even without, like, Middleton's a huge question mark right now, but even if he doesn't play a single game in the playoffs, I still, like, that's how confident I am in Giannis and Dame. Like, I think that's the best 1-2 duo still right now in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Just pairing those two up is insane work. So yeah, I gotta ride with the Bucks.
They've definitely both been putting up about 30 a game the past 10 to 15 games.
All-Star break kind of.
And then Bobby Portis has stepped it up. The biggest thing for the Bucks is going to be their bench, because once Dame or Giannis have to sit, that's when things really go south. Hopefully, with Chris Middleton coming back or just getting into the flow of things, that he can take some of the pressure off of them and hit some good mid-range shots. We talked about at the beginning of the season, they have all 3 levels of scoring. You got Dame, 3-pointers, Chris Middleton's hitting your mid-range shots, and then Giannis is getting to the paint. So
Chris Middleton's also Michael Jordan come playoff time. So
yeah,
if they could get that again, yeah, they're gonna be scary.
Yeah, if they can get 2021 Chris Middleton, things will definitely be scary over there. And another, like, the bench needs to score, because if Giannis is having a bad game, if Dame is having a bad game, and you only have one of those guys going off, and you're not getting any help from your second unit, then things just get that much harder for the Bucks. And that's something that they've struggled with all year. It seems like teams that stop Giannis and Dame often have success because the bench, they kind of feed off of them. They'll get a kick out three and hit a corner three. Malik Beasley's gonna have to be huge hitting shots. So honestly, it comes down to the bench for me on whether or not they really win it all.
I think they got a good enough bench. I think they're a solid team all around. With or without Chris Middleton, I think they have what it takes. So.
All right, and moving out west, the number one contender for the Western Conference is the defending champions, of course, the Denver Nuggets. This team might have the most chemistry in the NBA right now. They always know where they're going to be. Nikola Jokic is running the ship as always. And the most unstoppable play in the NBA might just be the Nikola Jokic post-up fake hook shot lob to Aaron Gordon.
I watched that when that video came out. I was like, dude, I never realized how many times they've done that, bro. It's insane.
I caught it like during the finals because I was like, Aaron Gordon's about to get a lob at least 4 times because the Heat didn't have size either.
Yeah.
And man, and it's great too because it always looks like Jokic is going for a shot because that's somewhat of
just getting rebounds.
His normal shooting form. He just throws it up, but he knows he's passing. It's just genius on their part. And then Jamal Murray always turns it up in the playoffs. No one wants to see playoff Jamal Murray. He goes from like a 22 point per game score and he ups it to about 27 to 30.
Yeah, there's no question. I also said before the season started, I was taking the Nuggets, still taking the Nuggets. I got a Nuggets Bucks finals. They're the clear-cut top contender, I'd say.
Definitely. It's just hard to beat a team that has that much chemistry together, and they've got all levels of scoring as well. And it's not just, you don't have to worry about just Jokic scoring. Jokic usually only wants to score when the rest of his team is struggling. The biggest thing for the Nuggets, in my opinion, is just three-point shooting. If your guys aren't hitting threes, that's when teams can just focus on Jokic, and that's when things get harder for them. But it's going to be very tough to beat them out of any teams. But what teams do you think can beat them? What are some other Western Conference contenders?
I would say the top team to match up with the Nuggets is probably the Clippers. I think once they get Russ back, they're playing great without Russ, but even having him come off the bench is instantly like probably the best sixth man in the league. But the Clippers match up well everywhere. Obviously, Jokic is a lot better than Zubac, but yeah, Zubac is solid. He's a solid, and they've played against each other a lot, so I feel like he's got a little bit of a, nobody can ever really know what Joker is going to do, but he knows what he's doing. Obviously, Kawhi and PG, probably the two best two-way players for the last 5 years when they're healthy. Adding in James Harden, they've meshed well. They have great role players like Powell and Plumlee. That's a good team. They could easily, maybe not easily, but they're the other team that would do it to the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The Clippers are also a team built to win. They've spent a lot of their draft capital and overall capital on getting James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard all together on one team. You got Russell Westbrook off the bench. That's a big 3-4 right there. And then, Zubac and Mason Plumlee, they're going to have their work cut out for them if they do face the Nuggets, staying out of foul trouble and all that.
Plumlee was his teammate, though, so he might know a little something.
A little bit of inside knowledge on the Joker. But the biggest thing for the Clippers is that the Clippers franchise has never won a ring. Outside Kawhi Leonard, I don't think anyone else on the team has won a ring who's a big name. James Harden, Paul George.
Oh, big name, yeah. I was going to say, wasn't
Westbrook.
Norman Powell on that Raptors team with Kawhi?
Probably, but
not a big name.
Those three guys are all seeking their first ring. A lot of people have been wanting them to win a ring, or it's brought up in conversations as to why they might not be better than someone. So hopefully all those guys are hungry to get their first ring as well. I feel like their chemistry has gotten a lot better since the trade happened. They started off really bad. I was hating hard.
I was.
As
he does.
But it's mainly because I wanted the Clippers to be successful, because we had them top 3 in the West by the end of the year, and they were 12th. And now they're back in that top 4, top 3 category. And I don't think teams want to see the Clippers either.
No, because I wouldn't, dude. There's way too much star power on that team.
Not even that, just the lockdown defense from Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard turns into a different breed in the playoffs too. You got playoff P. He had that one series where he did lead the Clippers to the conference finals before. But Steve Ballmer's gone all in on this team. They've got a new design. new stadium and everything. So if this isn't the year, the window of opportunity for the Clippers is closing rapidly as these guys get older.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be their last best chance. But
I'll say if there is a script in the NBA, wouldn't be surprised if they won a ring next year in their new stadium. But if there's a script, that's a pretty good one.
That's a good
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Their new stadium looks pretty freaking cool.
Oh my god, it does. And their new design too. I
Yeah.
like it. Comment below if you like or dislike the Clippers' new redesign. I'm personally a fan of the logo and the jerseys and everything. But if you hate it, let us know why in the comments down below. Alright, moving on. Phoenix Suns.
I'll say Phoenix is the last team that's like they're also winning right now. Like this is it. If they don't win, so I'd say it's another, as Shaq would say, a championship or bust season.
I'd have to agree. They did spend a lot of capital as well to get Kevin Durant, to get Devin Booker with Bradley Beal. The issue with the Suns is just health. They haven't been healthy all year long. This is looking like another Nets 2.0 situation where the big three just isn't healthy. And the Suns have a problem closing in the fourth quarter. They're the worst fourth quarter team in the league. I think they have a net rating of like -12 or 14 or something in the fourth quarter. They have leads up in like 1 through 3, and then that fourth quarter comes along and then they just collapse. And it's not even a lack of scoring; they just can't hit shots.
It's very weird for that to be true with a team with a clutch scorer like Kevin Durant. Like, how many times at the end of the game has Kevin Durant just put a dagger through the other team's hearts?
Exactly.
But this season's different. I don't know.
Yeah, and then with them as well, they also need that, like the Bucks, they need their bench to step up, their role players to hit some big shots. Grayson Allen has been looking really good the past few games.
It pains me, but he's playing solid.
I mean, if you're a Bulls fan, you know exactly why we hate Grayson Allen. But Eric Gordon needs to be big. You've got Drew Eubanks. He's got to be big.
He's been playing
very well.
Like, when they picked him up, I was like, whatever, dude. It's Drew Eubanks. Who cares? But he's been like putting people on posters and shit.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, it's like, what the hell? They got something in the water, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. So the biggest thing outside of the star power is just locking down on defense, closing things out in the fourth, and then that bench squad keeping you guys in the game when your stars are sitting. That's the biggest thing for the Phoenix Suns. And I've got one more contender. Oh boy, you might not be expecting this. I could have put them in the dark horse category.
Maybe I forgot about him. Where are we going?
We're staying out west. We're going to Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. We got the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the Rockets for a second, dude. I was like, what, dude?
I was going to bring up my boy Wemby.
I was like, he's not about to do that, dude. I totally forgot about the Mavericks, though.
Yeah, they're right now also sitting in that 8 to 6 range of the Western Conference standings, and they've had some bad losses, but they've also had some really good wins. And Luka Doncic is on an MVP year, in my opinion. He's being disrespected in those rankings 100%. He should be higher than Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah.
And in my opinion, higher than Shea as well. I don't think Shea's doing as much.
He's a 1 seed, dude. He's leading his team to a 1 seed, putting up Michael Jordan numbers. I mean, I think it should be Luka and him both in the top 3, probably with Joker.
Yeah.
But I don't know about all of them. It's alright. I mean,
individually,
yes, but his team is a lot better. Yeah, that's the thing. That gets me.
It is what it is. But with the Mavericks, Luka has shown frustration in the past with the Dallas front office and the team that's been put together. He wants a ring for sure. He's had success in the EuroLeague before he got to the NBA, and he wants to prove in the NBA because I'm sure he's one of those guys who's definitely going to be talked about as one of the greatest of all time. Maybe not like GOAT, but just one of the greatest players to play basketball.
If he puts the rings together, he may be GOAT, dude.
He might be. But the biggest thing is getting those rings for Luka. And he's tired of having I don't know if he's tired of carrying teams all the time because he's always putting up 30 plus. But I think he wants a championship winning team. He's got Kyrie Irving. I think they addressed their defensive issues by getting Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. They always struggled at
those pickups.
They always struggled in the paint defensively, and their bigs overall have never been all that great outside of Porzingis those couple years that he was there. I think that this is Dallas's best roster that they've had.
I was gonna say he's definitely dragged worse teams to the conference finals. So.
Yeah. Back when Jalen Brunson was a Maverick, I think Porzingis was still on that team.
Yeah.
And
he was barely playing, but he was there.
Yeah, he was there. But now you got Kyrie Irving, someone who has proven himself by winning a championship. He can hit big shots. Luka can hit big shots. They play well off of each other, in my opinion, which some people speculated may not be the case.
They play well individually, yes, but they're still not winning games at the rate that they should be.
You would hope, yeah. But I do think that they're contenders. Their defense is finally being addressed. It's not as bad as it was once looking like at the beginning of the year. Derek Lively has been playing pretty good this season. He's on a little bit of a slump recently, but his defensive presence, along with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, I think helps them tremendously. And just like most teams, the star power isn't really the issue. For them, it's definitely the bench and finding other guys to score. There have been so many times when I've looked at a Dallas Mavericks game, or just even checking the box score real quick, and Luka will have his 16, 18 in like a quarter and a half, and Kyrie will have about 12 or so points, double digits, and then I'll see zeros for like a few starters or a bunch of bench players. They just can't score if he's not on the court, and I think that's a major issue that they have to address if they really want to contend for a championship.
That's where losing Jalen Brunson off the bench kind of kills him. But
yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
It is pretty wild that you have them as contenders and they're in the play-in right now, but not a dark horse, and the Lakers are dark horses. I'll leave it at that.
I don't know, man. I think
You like Luka.
Luka's got some magic this time around. I think
Even more Luka magic, really.
if it's not this year, when? I don't think, because they also lack draft capital and a lot of other assets. So
I think you got like 10 more years of prime Luka probably, so they got time if it doesn't work out this year. It just depends who they can bring in.
The issue isn't Luka being good. It's if he wants to stay in Dallas. There's speculation he might leave.
Yeah, fair.
So if not this year, when? And that'll wrap it up for our contenders list. Unless you got one real quick for me.
Well, I've gone over all my contenders.
All right. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of the teams that we mentioned today. Who do you think is a pretender, a dark horse, and a contender in the NBA playoffs? They're right around the corner. We got one more month left in the NBA till the playoffs come around. Make sure to dunk on that like button. It's the number one thing you could do for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, because I know you want to be a part of the Full Court Press family, baby.
Sir.
Till next time. Peace.